Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We're here with Alliance War Season 61, Number 6, and we have another double header here, as we always do. I have a bit of a small war on my main, honestly, because there wasn't too many minis that Hood could do. There was only 2 that I planned for. There was actually one more I was going to send Hood to, but another guy had a different counter for it, so I just figured he could take it, and it went well. But we're starting out on path 8 here. We have this Peni on Rage. Hood is a very, very good counter to this fight. I do play it a little bit sub-optimally. I could have been farming a lot more bullets, because you can just parry heavy a bunch at the start as long as you wait out the power gain and just hit block in between. It's not really an issue. But you just want to basically take out the shield and then treat it like a normal Hood fight. So here we are going to go for our heavy, and now we are able to just cycle some L2s until the auto block comes back, the sync shield, and then once the sync shield is back, we have to take it down one more time, and then he will die, or she will die, I guess. So we go for our heavy attack here. Oh no, we actually don't go for our heavy attack there. That L2, by the way, was intentionally thrown into the block because I would rather not have to waste time hitting into the block a bunch of times. I would rather just remove the shield right away, and also it technically saves me bullets, so there we go. But I knew I would have a bunch of chances to make up bullets in this war, so I wasn't really concerned. We have Hyperion here on the next node. You can heavy counter heavy really easily with Hood. So right before I land my L2, I'm going to do that, but there's no reason to do it right here. I don't know why I only did the single hit. Oh, I guess I was trying to heavy counter heavy, and I wasn't reacting in time. But we throw the heavy attack to get the nullify immunity down, and then we just want to go all out on our L2s. Hyperion doesn't really do anything without his power gain buff. Like, he's going to get that cosmic thing, but who really cares? It doesn't really do anything. And then here I think we're just going to kill. But yeah, really, really straightforward fight. And we can go up to our section 2 when we have one fight with Chi and then another Hood fight. In hindsight, I should have just used Chi for both fights. Like, I'm going to use Chi for this leader on path 8. And then I should have just used Chi for the Thanos as well, because Chi gets a lot more knockdowns than Hood does. So it's just going to be a little bit of a long fight, so we're actually going to speed through that one. But this one here is pretty straightforward. We're just going to make sure we're alternating hits. Leader doesn't really do anything, although I am going to eat an L2 to the face just for fun because I felt like giving him a chance here. Yeah, so we're going to go, I think we're alternating parry heavy, parry medium. I think that's what we're doing here. And if he doesn't want to throw specials, he doesn't have to. I'll just let him go to an L2. And then I'm pretty sure here I'm going to get clipped trying to bait the L2. Yeah, right there. I don't know why I dexed out of that, but you know what? I deserve to take those hits, so that's fine. We want to keep throwing our L1 because if he does, and there he does get the 5 debuffs. If we do get 5 non-damaging debuffs on us, then we are going to trigger the unstoppable. So as long as we have our grid up, that's not going to happen. So pretty straightforward fight. Just throw the L1. This is our only Chi fight, so I wasn't really concerned about eating that L2 to the face. It's not actually going to cost me any potions. So yeah, fight goes down in a minute, and hey, we end with 69% health, so nice. And yeah, this fight is really, really slow with Hood. The reason Hood is not fantastic for Thanos here, like he is on a lot of nodes, is because of the protection here, because the way you want to play Hood against Thanos is a little bit more chill than the way you want to play Hood against most people. You can't just be spamming L2s because then he will just go unstoppable. You want to be waiting it out and doing like 2-hit combos. So on a fight like this, where you want to have constant knockdowns, Chi would have been way, way faster. Probably like a full minute faster, and I'm not even exaggerating, because the way you play Hood, or sorry, the way you play Chi versus Thanos is that you want to go for parrying the last hit of the L1 and countering with a heavy and just spamming L1. So it would have been way, way better had I done it that way, but it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. And then here I think we're going to go for, oh, there we actually activate the unstoppable. But we get the protection down, we go for a heavy attack, that gets him to 50%, and then we basically just have to do that twice. The second half of this fight is going to be a lot faster than the first half. I think we're going to get him down in about 40 seconds from here. But yeah, just not really a great fight, and I didn't feel good while I was doing it. It just kind of felt super awkward, but we're never going to be in any danger because Hood just controls Thanos so well everywhere you take him. So yeah, here we are at the next protection phase, so all we need to do is throw one more L2 and then a heavy, and then he dexes the heavy. I forgot about that. But yeah, we're just going to striker heavy, and he does go down. So bit of a longer fight. In hindsight, I don't know why I didn't use Chi. I think I just wasn't paying attention. And yeah, goes fine. Next up here, this is going to be node 39 Maestro with Hood. Really easy fight, really hard counter. We're actually going to have something unfortunate happen in this fight, and we're going to get pushed to special 3, actually pretty close to the beginning of the fight. It's probably like 30 seconds in, I get pushed to a special 3. And I should have just thrown the special 3, but I end up actually holding it for the rest of the fight and just killing Maestro with basics. So there we throw in a couple energy refills because I know I had to reach my last fight after this. But this is a very, very hard counter with Hood. It's definitely the best option. I mean, Shothra and Mojo are also both reasonable counters here, but in my opinion, Hood's the best option. So yeah, we just went for a bunch of extra heavies at the start. Gonna get our invisibility up and just start cycling the L2s. But I think we're gonna get a little bit too good RNG on our power steals here. And okay, it hasn't happened yet. Maybe it happens here. No, it's that heavy attack. Okay, I shouldn't have detonated there. Had I gone for another L2, then I wouldn't have gotten pushed to special 3, but luckily there we do activate we bait the special while we have a stagger on, so that stops all the buffs from Footloose and also from the stun immunity. So, oh, turns out we did throw our L3. I must have been misremembering this fight, but we did have a stagger on because we crit in the combo right before. So now we just got to get back to an L2, I guess, but yeah, okay, we are going to. Nice. All right, and yeah, it's not a huge deal if he wants to throw specials because, again, we have the constant Fate Seal and Stagger, so he's never actually going to get any of the buffs. He's never going to get the power gain. And yeah, that fight goes down really well. So if you watched my last war video, so the one that came out the day before this, you will have seen Lumatrix on 44 go the worst it's ever gone. This is probably the best it's ever gone. So this is going to be 44 Luma, once again. And Luma's going to behave, which is nice. No random L1s into my block, no heavy attacks into thin air to get rid of my invisibility with the tracking. So we're going to heal up here. We still have the PS1 going. I mean, mind you, it is a rank 3 Luma, so technically it should have been like 15 seconds longer than this if it was a rank 4, and I would have taken maybe 5% extra damage, but all things considered, it's fine. We land a nice naked intercept, which actually does help us get some extra openings at the start, but we're just going to cycle L2s, and Luma's actually going to behave, which is nice. There we get an L1 into my block, but my Fate Seal actually fails it, which is cool. But unfortunately, I did not react in time to see if my Fate Seal would fail it. I just assumed it wouldn't. So I actually did not continue hitting after the L2. I didn't trust that the Fate Seal would fail it, which, I mean, is definitely the safest thing to do, but unfortunately, we did have a bunch of hexes expire that did not get detonated, so we did do a good amount less damage there. Like, at this point, he would have already been dead. But now we have enough hexes that we can detonate, and we are going to walk out of the fight with 77% health, which is probably the second best I've ever done as far as health in that fight. Not the fastest it's ever gone, but still pretty good. All right, so now we're over to my alt account, and we are starting out on path 5 here. And we have this Kindred on the knockdown node. This is a pretty straightforward fight with Hood. We're not going to have tons of chances to get extra knockdowns for bullets here, but we're going to have some chances in the next few fights to do that, so it's not really a problem. We unfortunately get the atrophy on us right before I activate invisibility, so that invisibility is going to be a little bit shorter. But this is not really a threatening placement. I understand the reason Kindred is on this node, because if you go for a parry, and then because of the stun immunity you have to parry again, and then he goes for a heavy attack, then he doubles his charges, but as long as you keep them paused, that doesn't actually do anything, so it doesn't really matter. Here we need to go for our heavy attack so that that green passive expires faster, but he's actually really nice and he throws a special 2 for us to be able to pause our charges, and then here I think we're just going to go for a striker to test if the root would trigger. We did actually fail it with the Fate Seal, and then it does kill, so that's nice. So we'll go up to our next fight here. This is going to be node 14 Knull, which is heavy hitter. I don't really understand why Knull is here, other than the fact that you normally want to push him to L2 so you can't like block bait, so he could throw L1 into the air. But with Hood, I don't really care if he throws L1 because I'm just going to fail the buffs going to him anyways, and statistically I failed the fates or the corruption half the time anyways, or 67% of the time anyways. There, unfortunately, he does throw L1, which I did not like. But what we're going to do is I think we're just going to wait until my invisibility comes back and then time my L2. No, okay, we didn't, but... Oh, and then I throw my L2 into his block. Right, I remember that. I remember messing that up and being like, ugh, now I got to recover. Luckily, Hood, very, very safe. So now we just have to get back to an L2 so that doesn't happen again. But looks like we actually end up going for an extra heavy instead. And yeah, we get hit because of it, which is just wonderful. And then he throws an L1 into my hard block, which is just incredible. We love that. Thank you, Knull. That was very nice of you. Still very safe. I mean, I'm at 97% health. I throw in an invuln for that very reason of him throwing random SP1s. But yeah, heavy attack almost kills. I think we're going to bait the L2, throw my L2, and then heavy, and then he is down. No, we're just going to L2. Okay. And heavy. All right. Well, I thought I would have baited that L2, but I mean, we finished at 99% health, so why should I be complaining? Nice fight, and let's go on to section 2, where we are on path 5. We're taking Werewolf on the first one, and then I believe it's Shocker on the next one. And then actually, for the first time in Bolt, I'm actually getting a mini-boss, so let's go. This is my third war in Bolt, and the first 2 I was just a Path Demon with 4 fights, but got my first mini-boss this war, and then I'm actually going to get even more mini-bosses going forward in the future wars. So Werewolf here, pretty easy fight with Hood. Going to want to get a combo at the start so that when I get my intercept here, I won't need to go for a second miss because his double medium is going to consume both of my guaranteed misses. But we're just mostly going to go for the L2 cycle. Going to try to push Werewolf to his L2 because his L1's frankly just annoying and I don't like dealing with it. So yeah, we do bait that out successfully. Went for an intercept. He did not go for it, but that's fine. And then here he gives us a howl. There I went for a light intercept and he smacked me with his L2. Or sorry, his L1. So yeah, now we get another intercept. Gonna go back to my L2. And I think we're gonna probably go for a heavy attack here. See if this kills. It probably kills. Yeah, okay, so nice. So we did take an L1 to the face, but very safe, nowhere near dying. We take that. Next fight here is going to be Shocker, and Hood hard counters Shocker. This is like literally a nothing placement. I don't really understand the logic of Shocker here because none of his normal threats would make this fight harder, because if anything, his kit prompts you to intercept him. So once he starts throwing L1s, you need to intercept him anyways. So this node kind of just plays into it and gives you a fury for intercepting him. So yeah, can't say I understand that, but you know, they're allowed to place what they want to place. Doesn't have to make sense to everyone. And yeah, we're just going to cycle some L2s. This is my last Hood fight because my mini-boss this war is with Chee'Ilth. It's not with Hood. But yeah, Shocker's going to get absolutely nuked. Get another intercept here, but because we had the Fate Seal up, we actually turned off the node, so we don't get the Fury, but it's fine because the protection will never come back. And there you go. quick 30-second nuke. If I wanted, I could have played that way slower and ended with max bullets, but because I didn't have any fights remaining with Hood, I figured there was no reason to do so. So last fight of the war, we're going to be throwing on some skill boosts because it is a Chee'Ilth fight. We're going to be taking Node 49 Modok with Chi, which is a really good matchup that I've done a couple times before. I think I've done it like 2 or 3 times this season. I think I've done it twice this season, and I think I've done it like 2 or 3 times before this season as well. So tactic doesn't really change this fight with Chee'Ilth because your cleanse is going to take care of the debuffs anyways, so he's never actually going to get to 5. Like, it's completely impossible unless you get parried and then like he hits you and he has resonate on. That's what it would take. Like, the cleanses keep pace up with the rage, so it's never actually going to trigger. We throw in an invuln boost here just in case I eat hits, but I'm pretty sure this one is clean. I don't actually remember for sure. But just so you know, the way that heavy countering heavy in the Chi versus Modok matchup works is it works as long as Modok is not in his own corner. So you can heavy counter heavy everywhere on the field, and all it takes is whiffing a light attack into a heavy. Again, as long as Modok is not pressed up against his corner. So if I ever do get him up against his corner, like right here, I don't want him throwing a heavy because I know I can't consistently heavy counter heavy there. There it did work, but I noticed that, like, hey, I probably should not have done that. So I am going to back off and give him a little bit of space, like right here. Oh no, there, I probably shouldn't have hit him. I probably should have backed off, but whatever. We are going to go for the L3 with Chi. The L3 with Chi is actually pretty nice because it is going to give us a little bit of a regen, but is also going to give us a cruelty. I'm pretty sure it's a cruelty. And the nice thing is, or no, it's a vicious. It's not a cruelty. So that is just going to increase the damage off of our bleeds, which is really cool because that's our main damage source in this fight. And there is a way to play this fight with Chi where you just basically never lose your bleeds. You just keep them paused the entire fight, but you take a good amount more block damage than you would otherwise, so it's not really the safest thing to do. Here, I don't know what I'm doing. I just threw L1 into auto block. And yeah, we are going to eat a combo for it, so I guess I was wrong. This one isn't fully clean, but I think we're just going to heavy counter heavy here, and then he is going to drop. So, I mean, I ended with 75% health. Still very, very safe, clearly. So now for the results of the war. AOH did beat TNA once it loads. Give me a second. Yeah, we beat them 11-34. Not the most amazing performance by us, but we still won. And then in Bolt, we actually had a really nice war as BG1. We only had 1 death to their 3, so that was a really good performance by us. And we did win this, the war with a score of 8-14. So both alliances won. Pretty good day for me. AOH is now 3-3. Bolt is now 4-2 on the season. I still have 0 deaths total, and I've soloed 58 out of 58 fights between the two accounts, with 45 of those being on my main and 13 being on my alt. I have an active Deathless streak of 178 fights with a 99 fight streak on my main and a 106 fight streak on my alt. So that is going to be all for this video. I hope you all enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.